The other day, I came across an incredibly special piece of old media from back in the ancient days of 2006. An issue of Us Weekly from the 2000s that's titled Hollywood in Virgin Territory. This is from July 10th, 2006. Chastity may be a virtue, but it's hard to come by in Hollywood. Who has made the effort?
The ancient days of a year after I graduated high school.
Yeah. Back in the dizzy.
Okay.
The olden days of 2006. I mean, if you think about it, it really was such a different time.
Yes.
And it's only because times have changed so fast. Not because it was actually that long ago, but the culture has shifted so quickly.
I mean, 20 years is a long time for us when you're living it, but it's not a long time in the cosmic
in the grand scheme of
things. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a long time.
Yes, and Hollywood's seemingly positive outlook on a virtue like chastity in this example, it was shocking to see it. And I think there's no way you would see any Hollywood media publication talk about this subject, let alone see it as a good thing.
I don't even think it's necessarily about seeing it as a good thing or a bad thing. I think they just consider it so obsolete that it's not even worth discussing.
That it would never even be addressed.
And the problem is now it would get a political label. It would be labeled as trad or conservative.
In 2024,
it's just boring and stupid.
Even be addressed, or if it ever came up, it would be mocked and denigrated.
I don't even think necessarily that. I think they would just ignore it. Like, I don't think it would be mocked or denigrated. I think they would just ignore it.
I'm sure I could, if we went into a deep dive on this subject, I could find plenty of examples where Hollywood is denigrating.
I mean, I'm trying to think.
Purity.
I'm thinking more of like a magazine specifically denigrating it. Like examples
they would prefer every single time to instead celebrate degeneracy rather than shit on purity and virtue. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
And that's more effective anyway for a lot of these Cosmo type publications. But here it says Hilary Duff as the first example of a Hollywood starlet saving her purity. The good girl, 18, just confessed to Elle that she is a virgin. It doesn't mean I haven't thought about sex, she said. It doesn't sound special when pals talk about it.
Okay.
Current status, she has a boyfriend of 2 years, Joel Madden, 27.
This clashes horribly with Landman, which I'm watching, where the 17-year-old daughter Ainsley just talks endlessly to her own dad about sex in super graphic detail, and his ex-wife is basically like a predatory cougar who's like, if she breaks up with her boyfriend, I'm gonna do him. Like,
you see the contrast between 2006 and 2024.
Not that long ago.
Pretty.
18 years ago, and that's how things have changed.
Right. Also, just gonna mention the age gap thing was not as taboo back then, because they just said here that Joel Madden was 25 dating 16-year-old Hilary Duff.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. Jessica Simpson, her dad Joe once said his chaste daughter, now 26, could, quote, do it till she's blue in the face after marrying Nick Lachey. Current status, they are separated since November. I guess that's referring to 2005.
Yeah.
But was linked to Adam Levine, who denies hanky-panky.
Denies hanky-panky. Even that phrasing is weird.
It's actually kind of quaint that they're using words like that. Pop Culture Junkie said, Mary, agree with you on the suffering for weight loss. Spent a couple of years dropping 65 pounds through exercise and calorie restrictions. Not repeating that is a great motivator to keep off the pounds. Discipline does work.
Yeah, if you actually have to suffer to lose the weight, then you're like, I don't want to freaking go through that again.
They also listed Britney Spears on there. I really wish I had never said anything on her 1999 virginity declaration. Is that a thing that she did? She declared her virginity?
Were there like Hollywood given purity rings or something? I don't know about any of this.
I guess people really brought this up though, and that was when she was with Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Like, people were interested in this.
Yeah, so again, I've mentioned many times we're watching Roswell, and they make a big deal about the teenagers waiting for to lose their virginity. I'm like, they would never even bother with that now.
That would never even be addressed.
It would never
compare
be,
that to Euphoria.
It
right?
wouldn't make any sense even as a storyline in current year because nobody would buy it.
Right. Yeah. Which is ironic because if you actually look at the way Gen Z is behaving in the real world, it does not reflect how they're portrayed in Hollywood, in TV shows and movies. Completely opposite.
Yeah, because they're all socially awkward, uncomfortable around one another, and put off by the idea of sex.
A show like Euphoria is literally just made for millennials to watch it and fantasize about what it would be like to be a teenager in the 2020s. It's completely not based in reality.
I also, look, if I'm being completely honest, I could imagine that every single woman on this list is lying and that they're doing it because at the time it was still good publicity.
Was it good publicity in 2006? I feel like by 2006 it even was considered embarrassing.
Nah, not nearly to the extent now.
Because there were so many tropes in movies about how girls and guys are like embarrassed, like deathly embarrassed, mortified by their own virginity. Like that's a theme in so much of the media from back then.
I mean, yeah, but that's like a theme in movies about normal people, not celebrities. Celebrities were at one time supposed to be held to a higher standard where they were supposed to be a role model. I mean, we have that debate now about whether celebrities should even be considered role models. Because my whole point is that you should, if your kids are looking to celebrities for role models, you should make some changes.
In 2003, Jessica Simpson famously waited until her wedding night to have sex. She told this magazine in 2003, "It was the most amazing moment of my life. I'm so lucky I didn't lose my virginity in the back of a Jeep or something. Instead, I had this amazing elaborate wedding and topped it off with that." They also listed Adriana Lima here, the Victoria's Secret supermodel, who is a devout Catholic and was waiting until marriage. She talked about it in a GQ interview in 2006, saying, "They have to respect that this is my choice. If there's no respect, that means they don't want me." And she also, I think this is a misquote, but Adriana Lima said, like, it's flattering that men find me attractive, but I also remember they would have sex with a McChicken.
I remember that.
So I don't let it get to my head.
Yeah.
Which always made me laugh. Unfortunately, Adriana Lima got cheated on by her husband. They're no longer together.
Who was her husband?
Doesn't always work out. It says he's a basketball player named Marco Jaric.
Oh, okay.
They married in 2009. A few years after her interview.
It's just, you are 110% correct that these storylines just wouldn't exist today, and nobody even assumes. It's like, it's how sad is it that you can't even assume that someone could be seen as pure lest we denigrate them and tell them they're weird for doing so, and that's not really the point. That's like I said, one of the great things about one of the great things about Roswell is, like, they're all pretty innocent, like for the most part. I mean, like, I think all of them other than Michael are like not sexually active until they get married.
Right. But that's just like, it wasn't something they even thought about writing.
Yeah.
Right.
It wouldn't have been it wouldn't have been on the minds of the writers back then.
But it's like almost unthinkable now. Yeah. That would be portrayed in a show or a movie, or even that you would conduct yourself like that in real life, which is just shocking the way things have changed so much. The only like younger stars that came to mind in these examples was Justin Bieber and Hailey, formerly Baldwin, now Hailey Bieber. They got married in 2018, in September 2018. They had been friends for like a decade since they were kids, but they were only dating for like a few months before that.
Okay.
And they talked about how they never had sex until they actually got married at the courthouse. And
well, if they were having sex at a courthouse, that's a whole nother
not
problem.
at the courthouse, but you know what I mean. It's just interesting that they talked about this so openly, and Justin is very open about his faith and everything. But people haven't really, been mean to them about that. This says in their Vogue interview from 2019, When the couple reconnected, Justin was more than a year into a self-imposed tenure of celibacy. He had what he calls a legitimate problem with sex. It was his remaining vice, an addiction that had long since ceased to provide him any pleasure. Not having sex, he decided, was a way for him to feel closer to God. He doesn't ask us not to have sex for him because he wants rules and stuff. He's like, I'm trying to protect you from hurt and pain. I think sex can cause a lot of pain. Sometimes people have sex because they don't feel good enough, because they lack self-worth. Women do that. Guys do that. I wanted to rededicate myself to God in that way because I really felt it was better for the condition of my soul, and I believe that God blessed me with Haley as a result. There are perks. You get rewarded for good behavior. And it was speculated at the time that they got married fast because she was pregnant. Yeah. That is not true. We know that now. But they did have a child since then, like earlier this year.
Yep.
So it's nice to see a happy ending in one of those stories, at least.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.